Teen superhero groups are a pretty common trope in the comic verse, but the MCU is yet to utilize any up-and-coming heroes in their tales. That may change real soon. Young Avengers, assemble! So who are the Young Avengers? Well, it pretty much says that on the tin. Young Avengers who fight for the cause of justice like their older counterparts. They are pretty much Marvel's answer to the Teen Titans, but age doesn't mean their power is any less. So let's dive into some incredible abilities wielded by these young heroes. Some names may be surprisingly familiar, giving us hope for an MCU appearance someday soon. This list is not in any particular order, so any interpretations of who is truly the strongest Young Avenger is still very much up for debate. If you think we missed someone, please let us know.
Alright, I've run out of patience. On to ruse!
We all know our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, aka Peter Parker, a classic hero with little intro required. Most fans know his power set: super strength, enhanced reflexes, wall crawling, and some pretty superb fighting skills. Those traits together pack a punch. From giant lizards to vampires to flying millionaires on gliders, Parker has proved his power time and time again. Now we know Spider-Man has never actually been a member of the Young Avengers in the comics, but he gets a special mention for being a potential future member in the MCU. Peter is a younger member of the Avengers team, and may prove a great leader for an upcoming team of heroes, especially due to his age still being young thanks to the blip. Peter is a fan favorite, and we can be pretty certain other parents won't make anyone sick of him, especially with Tom Holland's wonderful performance. Cheers to you, Parker.
And thank you, Spider-Man, and he'll be right back out to take photos and videos. Thank you.
We want a series with Spider-Man. Despite her less than heroic status, Amity Hunter, aka Big Zero, was indeed a Young Avenger. Amity isn't a great role model we expect from a team of teen supers. No, she's actually a neo-Nazi hailing from the microverse. Amity was recruited by Norman Osborn due to size-changing abilities. Being able to reach heights of 100 feet tall, Big Zero can pack a real punch. Not only is she strong, but she has a great level of tech prowess to stack on her skills. Brain and brawn in one, Amity now is a member of the Young Masters, a team of villainous youths who originally took the title of Young Avengers. She's not the only one of these dark-inclined superpowered teens to make this list, and her departure from the Young Avengers is likely for the best, since Cassie Lang shares her power set and fulfills her role a little bit better. Just don't tell her we said that. Anyone with their finger on the pulse of the MCU knows a little bit about speed already. Little Tommy Maximoff from Wanda-Vision does indeed grow up to be a hero like his parents, though in the comics, he is a reborn version of the character called Thomas Shepard. Semantics aside, speed does what it says on the tin. He inherited the same power set as Pietro Maximoff, aka Quicksilver. The speedster can do everything his uncle can do, making him a tough hero to keep up with. If you need a reminder of just what this guy can do, take a rewatch of Evan Peters as Quicksilver. These slow-mo scenes really showcase the versatility and amazing possibilities that a talented speedster can utilize in the blink of an eye. Prodigy is a little less well-known than many of his teammates, but that doesn't lessen his power level by any means. A mutant and a member of the various divisions of the X-Men, David Aline did a stint with the Young Avengers for a time. Prodigy boasts the ability to telepathically absorb and mimic the skills and knowledge from the minds of others who are near him. Any weaponry, any piece of tech, any fighting style, those he can master in a flash. Adaptable in any scenario and a living multi-tool, Prodigy is the person you want around when gathering intel, making the job so much easier. He's not a mind reader, but honestly, that's to his advantage. No need to sift through thoughts when you can directly download that skill. Simple, efficient, and no additional pop-ups. Cassie Lang should be a familiar name to any fan of the Ant-Man. Just as her father before her, Cassie ends up playing around with the Pym particles to become the hero's stature. Just as her family had, she can alter her size and strength, allowing her to sneak away into any space or become a forceful giant. The MCU leaves some huge potential for Stature to join a Young Avengers team. She's been around her dad's exploits many times, including that fight on her train set in the first Ant-Man film. The littlest Lang is no stranger to conflicts of superheroes. With the possibilities of the quantum realm, Cassie may master some incredible powers of time travel as well. Scott, despite all his flaws, became a pretty good role model for his daughter, so let's give her the chance to show what she's earned. Noh-Warr, also known as Marvel Boy, is a Kree super soldier, having had his DNA altered with that of a cockroach. Kree are already more powerful than the standard human, but Noh-Warr is super by their standards, making his power level closer to godly on Earth. So what exactly did the cockroach genes give him power-wise? Well, we have the super strength, agility, durability, and speed we expect from a super soldier. Noh-Warr gains the extra bonus of wall-crawling powers, control over his body's growth, including his hair, and nanobots in his blood that allow him to reroute the sensations of pain. Also, his saliva can cause hallucinations, so that's fun. A good old mix of weird certainly helps craft a memorable hero, and Noh-Warr is a blast of strange that could certainly shake up the MCU if he was ever given the chance. Melter is another former Young Avenger that is now a member of the Young Masters. He's not just any other member though, he's often their leader. Christopher Colchis is pretty normal at first glance, having more standard abilities when it comes to strength, speed, and agility. Where his true powers lie is in the field of molecular acceleration. What does that mean exactly? Simply put, he can liquefy anything, including people, speeding up the molecules until they lose their solid form, melting or coming apart quite easily. That really sounds like a bad way to go. Rather keep a wide berth from this guy, huh? But that doesn't really make much of a difference, since he doesn't even have to touch them. He's been known to melt bullets mid-air. Long story short, don't mess with the Melter. Just don't. You'll thank me later, when you're still solid. This character was already given MCU canon in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Elijah Bradley is the grandson of Isaiah Bradley, a survivor of the Super Soldier Serum experiments. In the comic verse, Elijah is a founding member of the Young Avengers, though he does lie to keep his spot initially, claiming he had inherited his powers from his grandfather. In truth, he hadn't, and he was eventually caught in his lies. Lacking the super soldier powers, Elijah was putting himself in major danger in order to become a hero. Though this isn't a smart idea, it does harken back to the fiery spirit of Steve Rogers. Elijah can do this all day. Patriot was later on given a blood transfusion that granted him the powers he had pretended to already wield. A young man with the dedication to do good and all the powers of Captain America, Patriot is certainly a hero to keep our eyes on in the future of the MCU. A friend of Thomas Shepard, aka Speed, after they met in Juvie, Lisa Molnari's powers do not come from any inherent abilities herself. Instead, she managed to nab herself a wicked piece of tech, the Taboro code. This code allows her to grow 2 additional sets of arms, so 6 arms altogether. Yep, math checks out. She uses these arms to wield swords, making her a blur of blades in battle. She can also fly, so an airborne blur of blades in battle. Say that 5 times fast. Good luck making out of a fight with her unscathed. Despite a silly and on-the-nose name, she's not to be underestimated. Any strikes from her won't be merely a flesh wound. Coat of Arms doesn't stick around with the Young Avengers, eventually becoming a member of the Young Masters, their evil counterparts. Another of the founding members of the Young Avengers, Nathaniel Richards, also known as Iron Lad, has an interesting story behind him. Part of the reasoning for putting this team together is to help change the future. This hero has come back in time to prevent himself from becoming the notorious villain Kang the Conqueror. Being from the future, he has the Iron Man suit with all the tech advancements of the 40th century. The suit is made from a rare alloy and has the ability to respond to Nathaniel's subconscious. The likelihood of us seeing Nathaniel in the MCU currently doesn't seem high, but there have been some fingers pointing towards Harley Keener taking up the mantle. If Tony helped forge Spider-Man in the MCU, why not Iron Lad? Let's get the kids suited up! After all these years, we can finally see what potential little Harley has been hiding from us all along. Despite the name, Miss America is not related to the Captain in any way. She's closer to Marvel's version of Wonder Woman. America Chavez hails from the Utopian parallel, and she's making her way to Earth for the upcoming Doctor Strange sequel. Miss America has incredible strength, speed, and durability, but she also boasts the power of flight and the ability to kick star-shaped ribs in the fabric of reality, hence her upcoming debut in the Multiverse of Madness. What trouble is this teenage superhero gonna get into? And will she find her way to a future Young Avengers series? Fingers crossed. We need more of this tough Latino in live-action form. Kick a rift straight into our hearts, Miss America. We salute you. With our former Falcon taking up the shield, the spot is open for some fresh blood. Well, come on in, Joaquin Torres. If his name sounds familiar, it's because he already showed up in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Though he hasn't strapped on the wings yet, his comic equivalent has some extra bird genetics that throw him into the Falcon role right as Sam becomes the new Cap. Good timing here. Seems like a promising and high-flying future for this Air Force lieutenant. Some of his comic features likely won't make it into the live-action world. The bird DNA having also traces of vampirism for one may be a bit far-fetched. It gives him a pretty sweet healing factor, and thanks to it being an avian strain, no bloodlust, so, you know. But again, vampires may be a bit much for the MCU currently, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see. A unique specimen altogether, Sylvie Lushton was actually created and given her powers by the god of mischief himself, Loki Laufeyson. The reason behind her creation is unclear, aside from Loki just wanting to make a fake Asgardian, but her power is undeniable. Just like the god himself, Enchantress has a plethora of sorcery at her disposal. able to cast spells, teleport, fly, and create energy projectiles. That's just a taste of her skills. Having no training in magic, everything she does is unpredictable, and her upper limits are entirely unknown. She can perform mind manipulation en masse, as well as teleport groups of people. That itself is a feat, so what are her limits? We really have no way to know. Interesting tidbit though, Sylvie is not the first to have the title of Enchantress, the earlier version having been a real Asgardian by the name of Amora, who had had many encounters with the silver-tongued prince. A man of many names, Theodore Rufus Altman is a half-Skrull, half-Kree, who was raised as a human. Despite his name, Teddy has no Hulk form in the Bruce Banner sense. He just happens to be green. But he can also look like whatever he wants, really, being an incredible shapeshifter who has imprisoned many other heroes from time to time, often to sneak into some exclusive events. And before you bash this young hero, just consider who wouldn't try that at least once if they could. Anyway, back to the power side of things. Yes, he has intense and pretty perfect shapeshifting. A little bit of Beast Boy, a little bit of Mystique. Top that off with his Kree-enhanced strength and durability, and you have a recipe for a hero. This staple of the Young Avengers is likely to show up one day if we get more Wiccan, since the two have a long-standing relationship. Would be a shame to have one without the other, but baby steps for now, and maybe the alien prince will get his turn in the spotlight. If we can't get Iron Lad, what about Iron Heart? Riri Williams is a recent addition to the legacy of Marvel Comics and a successor to Tony Stark. With Tony gone, we are needing some heroes to take up the suit, and Riri fits the bill. All the tech prowess and intelligence of Stark, plus her suit, which she reverse engineered on her own. And she's ready to take on the world. And Disney Plus in an upcoming solo series too. There's been some talk as to whether Tony's daughter Morgan might one day be the Iron Heart we see fighting evil and avenging the Earth, but with Riri's popularity, I can't see her being replaced so soon. We can just give Morgan Stark her mom's rescue suit and call it a day. Cause what's better than one Iron hero? Well, two of course. A future face of the MCU, Kamala Khan, aka Ms. Marvel, is a newer hero in the comics as well. A teen from New Jersey with the Inhumans heritage, Kamala had her powers manifest after being exposed to radiation from a bomb. Now her body can shapeshift and morph, allowing her to change her size, appearance, and proportions, not to mention her enhanced healing factor. Also, she glows in the dark, less of a power and more of a feature really, but a mix of Mystique, Ant-Man, and Mr. Fantastic's powers make her a force of nature. She's living up to the name of Marvel, and we can't wait to see more of her soon. The Vision that is a member of the Young Avengers is unfortunately not the Jarvis-based android that we know and love. This new Vision, nicknamed Jonas, is a combo of the original Vision and Iron Lad's armor. Jonas has all the powers and programming of the original Vision, along with some additions, such as shapeshifting and time travel. Vision as we know him is already one of the more powerful Avengers, but his Young Avengers counterpart seems to have him beat when it comes to abilities. Before we judge Kate for her lack of superhuman abilities, just remember how key Clint Barton was in the makeup of the Avengers. Hawkeye did many great feats then, and his successor is likely to carry on that tradition and be an incredible asset to her future companions. Kate Bishop has expertise in many more weapons and combat styles than just archery, and has the equipment to back her up, plus a few trick arrows. An underdog she may seem, but the new Hawkeye will likely remain a key component in saving the world, just as her mentor before her. The Hawkeye miniseries will be the perfect spotlight for the unpowered heroes to show what they bring to the table. The God of Mischief has died a few times in the MCU so far, but at some point in the comics he really did kick the bucket. But comics are comics, it wasn't permanent, and he was resurrected as a young boy who didn't remember being the God of Mischief. But he did retain some of his powers. Though he's weaker than his older self, that doesn't make him weak in any regard, having some psionic abilities and Asgardian durability. A little redemption is a favorite Loki pastime, making this a natural progression for the story in the MCU. Plus, he's already on the route to time travel shenanigans in his own series, and we've had hints at the possibility of Lady Loki as well. Having Kid Loki is just another fun new character to explore and an interesting progression for this ever-evolving character. Based on what we've seen of Scarlet Witch, we already know Wiccan's powers are no joke. Billy has all the powers of his mother and more. Even Loki has been wowed by his power, remarking that he will reach godlike abilities one day. His list of magical talents is a mile long, but sandwich it all under reality warping and you can get a taste of his potential. An early member of the Young Avengers under the name Asgardian, Wiccan has been a staple of the team for a long time, and with powers like his, you really want this guy on your side. After watching Wanda unleash her powers on people, we can see the terror this type of magic brings in a whole new light. Knowing what we know now, I'd really hate to be on this kid's bad side. When you can bend reality to your will, nothing really is out of your reach. especially your enemies. Thanks to all the MCU content being dropped on Disney+, there's a chance we may get to see some of these characters coming at us full force sooner than we think. Only the mouse truly knows for sure what's in store for us. We hope he's generous.